So, you're Hakozaki. I'll be your trainer. Just because you have no experience as an editor doesn't mean I'll go easy on you.
You're incredible, Hakozaki! Even though your job description is changing, our goal of making Shonen Intelli a success is the same.
With a past like that, I know it's not easy for you to trust someone. But I can't just let your talent go to waste. This is the final, big gamble of my career. I swear I'll create the perfect environment for you.
I'm changing careers from a completely different field, but I'll do my absolute best. My colleagues watching my introduction all have bewildered looks on their faces. As autumn sets in, I, Junichi Hakozaki, have just started my mid-career job at Insho Publishing, the second largest company in the industry, right behind the top dog, Eito Publishing. I'm 28 years old and have been assigned to the weekly manga Shonen Intelli. Just a few days ago, I was working in a cafe wearing an apron. You never know where life will take you.
A graduate from N University? Isn't that a first for our company? How can he be so confident, if I may say so?
Maybe he has some connections? I heard he's a favorite of Executive Muro, the only female executive.
The reason my colleagues are whispering is simple. I graduated from what's considered a fifth-rate university. After all, Insho Publishing is a super elite group, with over 90% of its employees being graduates from T University, K University, or W University. I'm a former cafe worker with no outstanding academic background or industry experience. It's no wonder they find me strange. Everyone, I look forward to working with you. But that doesn't matter. I finished my self-introduction with my head held high, full of resolve for this new career.
So, you're Hakozaki. I'll be your trainer. Just because you have no experience as an editor doesn't mean I'll go easy on you.
Her name is Amane Kayaba. She's 1 year older than me and has been with the Shonen Intelli editorial department for 7 years. And judging by the way everyone looks at her, she must be the office sweetheart. I have no intention of using my inexperience as an excuse. I look forward to working with you. The next day, my training with Kayaba began immediately. She's a T University graduate, but she treats me just like anyone else.
More than the job itself, it's important to get your body used to the unique weekly manga schedule. Storyboard checks on Monday, new series meetings on Tuesday, planning meetings on Wednesday, proofreading on Thursday, and meetings with artists on Friday. While doing all that, we also have to scout for new talent, promote the manga we're in charge of, and plan events.
And of course, researching reader needs and social trends is part of our daily work.
Exactly. It might be hectic at first, but once you get used to it, your mind and body will move on their own.
For a while, my days were spent studying as an assistant to Kayaba's artists. Thanks to Kayaba's precise guidance, I was able to get the hang of the job surprisingly quickly. I'm also grateful that most of the employees I interact with are friendly, despite being from top universities. But there's one man who glares at me with envy. Damn it, he's just a graduate from a third-rate university, yet he's getting all friendly with my Amane. He's Daiji Zonji, also a T University graduate in the Shonen Intelli editorial department, just like Kayaba. He's always watching me and making snide remarks whenever he gets the chance. Don't get too carried away, know your place, and make sure you don't cause any trouble for Amane. Huh? I'll take that to heart and do my best. The annoying part is that he's good at maintaining his public image, so he only says these things where only I can hear. Well, as long as I don't react, it won't sour the office atmosphere. I'll just ignore it. Huh, no need to rush. A man with no education and no guts to talk back, he's no match for me. I was just focusing on my work and not paying him any mind, while he smugly misinterpreted it as me not having the guts to talk back. An unexpected misunderstanding was brewing between us. 6 months after I joined, I was still doing assistant-like work for Kayaba. Then, one day, during lunch.
Hakosaki, we did it! The chief editor said it's okay for you to be in charge of a series.
Really? Thank you so much. The editor of the historical manga Bakamatsu, which had been running for about a year, was being transferred, and I was chosen as the new editor in charge. This is all thanks to your guidance, Kayaba. Thank you so much.
Getting thanked so sincerely, I'm not used to it. It's a bit embarrassing. Most of the male employees here are so proud, so your honesty is like a breath of fresh air.
Kayaba says that, but I'm sure she pushed for me to get this opportunity so quickly. I want to get results and live up to her expectations. From that day on, I immediately reread Bakumatsu from the first chapter and analyzed the reader surveys. I also found and read all the past works of the artist before meeting with the previous editor.
And to be honest, it's been at the bottom of the reader surveys since its 3rd month. It could be canceled at any time.
The previous editor said, biting her lip in frustration. Could you tell me everything you remember about the meetings with the artist during the planning stage?
Let's see. First, the reason we thought this would be a hit was...
I see. I can feel the passion you both had back then. I'll do my best to carry on that spirit. I crammed all the data I received into my head and headed into my first meeting with the artist. And then...
This is amazing, Hakosaki. Bakumatsu's popularity is soaring.
1 month after I took over, Bakumatsu made a comeback in just 4 chapters. I know, right? It feels so good to be appreciated by the readers.
It doesn't look like you changed the direction drastically. What did you ask the artist to do?
I reviewed everything from the meetings before the series started. There was nothing wrong with the original concept or direction. But there was a slight gap with what the readers wanted. I analyzed that and had him fill in the gap with new development and new characters.
How did you manage to convince the artist and steer them in the direction you wanted? I think asking an artist to change course without hurting their pride is the most difficult part of an editor's job.
Nothing special. I just explained it with all my sincerity so he would understand. Fortunately, the artist agreed right away, saying it was a great idea.
You make it sound easy, Hakosaki, but that's actually a very difficult thing to do. Especially in his case, it's easy for people to say, who does this inexperienced rookie think he is? You're amazing, Hakosaki.
In the end, Bakumatsu maintained its popularity and was even chosen for the cover and opening color pages.
The chief editor saw these results and wants to put you in charge of the next planning meeting, so he wants you to come up with a plan.
What? He's entrusting it to me?
Yes, the chief editor himself says so there's no mistake. Because that man...
For a manga that was once on the chopping block to be featured on the cover is unheard of. This is a tremendous achievement.
He was really impressed with the revival of Bakumatsu. You probably become his new favorite. He might even come running at you with open arms one of these days.
No way. He's not a big dog.
That's a perfect description, isn't it? The chief editor does have a way of exploding with emotion using his whole body.
From that day on, Kayaba and I shared a secret understanding that the chief editor is like a big dog. The following week, I brought up an issue I'd been thinking about concerning the future of the manga industry. Once they achieve their long-awaited debut, they face a battle against the pressure of weekly deadlines. I believe that more and more manga artists will find it physically and mentally draining to keep up with this.
That's been a long-standing issue. How would you solve it, Hakozaki?
From now on, manga will be an era of specialization. It's more time efficient for a team to handle the art and the story separately. So, the editorial department would assess the skills of aspiring manga artists and have them form various teams. How about we regularly provide opportunities for them to co-create one-shot works?
So, you'd have them focus all their abilities on either art or story. That's interesting.
Thank you, sir. The chief editor had more faith in me than I expected, and my proposal plan was quickly adopted. By the way, he's also a man who has risen to the position of chief editor in this education-obsessed company. Of course, he's from a top university. Not everyone with a top education is closed-minded. I'm lucky to be working under him. The other employees in the meeting also praised my plan, saying it was something they couldn't have come up with. The level of potential new series has clearly improved. The manga artists are highly motivated. It's all thanks to your ideas, Hakozaki. Thank you. After carefully preparing the project, the aspiring manga artists were divided into teams and began creating one-shots. The result was a huge success. Of course, some artists initially resisted, wanting to do everything themselves, but once they experienced collaborative manga creation, they found new perspectives and many discoveries. It was praised as a great stimulus, and I want to do it again. Alright, it's sudden, but let's all go out for a drink tonight. And so, despite the last-minute invitation from the chief editor, many editors joined the drinking party. Moving from a lonely struggle to collaborating with comrades gives them a sense of security. That certainly makes sense. Yes, and at the same time, a sense of responsibility naturally develops, thinking, I can't be the one to hold the team back. By providing a better environment for aspiring manga artists, I believe the quality of their work will skyrocket. The senior editors all praised me, saying it wouldn't be long before a hit series emerged from one of the newly formed teams.
Hakozaki, I'm sorry. To be honest, when you first joined, I heard about your educational background and thought you wouldn't amount to much. But before I knew it, you brought a breath of fresh air to this department in so many ways. You're unstoppable. I'm truly impressed.
I agree. It taught me not to judge someone's ability just because they lack experience.
Wow, Hakozaki, you're amazing. First you revive an unpopular series, and now this. I have to admit, you've got real talent. Thank you. Sir? Chief Editor, don't you think you've had a bit too much to drink? The chief editor pounced on me like a big dog. Just as we had talked about before, Kayaba and I exchanged a look and laughed. However, this man remained unchanged. Noticing the atmosphere between Kayaba and me, he spoke to her. You should be careful. Things are just going well for him by chance right now. Soon, his true colors will show. Even as Kayaba tilted her head in confusion, Jizonji's rant didn't stop. A poor education means he ran away from the tough battles of entrance exams in the past. A habit of running away doesn't change. I'm sure he'll eventually crack under the pressure of work and run away. I heard his last remark, but I pretended not to, and continued to entertain the chief editor. The seasons changed, and a year had passed since I joined the company, under an autumn sky dotted with cirrocumulus clouds. The 40th anniversary party for Shonen and Telly was being held in a hotel banquet hall. Right now, on stage, the chief editor's incredibly long speech is continuing.
All right, all the necessary preparations are done. The chief editor's speech will probably end in about 3 minutes. In this precious free time we have, you must eat and drink what you like.
Huh? We're the organizers. I can manage without eating or drinking during the party.
No way! Since we've invited so many guests, we, the organizers, have to check the quality of the hotel's food and drinks first.
Doesn't that just mean you want to eat and drink as much as you can? And so, the chief editor's speech ended, and we moved on to social time. Many people, including photographers, designers, and talent agency representatives, came to greet Kayaba. That's a money for you, to have such a diverse network of contacts. As Kayaba politely greeted each person, she introduced me to everyone as a promising rookie, and at that moment...
Excuse me, are you Junichi Hakozaki?
Huh? Yes, I am. The person who approached me was a legendary manga artist I had only ever seen on TV. I was completely taken aback, as I had assumed he was going to talk to Kayaba. He is Teacher Yamatori, the author of the legendary manga Tiger Ball, which boasts the highest circulation in Shonen Intelli's history. I'm surprised. He had already announced his retirement, and his name wasn't on the guest list. Teacher Yamatori, it's an honor to meet you. I've been reading your work since I was a child, but why me?
The first editor for my manga was Executive Muro, the one who scouted you. She told me a lot about you, and it made me want to talk to you.
I see. I'm truly honored by your words.
You see, it's been a while since I announced my retirement, but I'm a manga artist at heart, and I still get the itch to draw. However, it's also true that I've exhausted all my ideas after the long run of Tiger Ball. So if you don't mind, would you be willing to handle the scenario for my comeback work?
I was so shocked I couldn't even reply. Kayaba, who was listening next to me, had her mouth wide open. I'm not sure I fully understand what you're saying. Me? Write the scenario?
Yes, I want to draw manga again, based on a scenario written by you. Would you be willing to put up with this old man's selfish request, even though I've already retired?
After that, all I could say was that I would consult my superiors and give him an answer as soon as possible. But Teacher Yamatori nodded in satisfaction and left the party early, despite being called out to by many people.
What's going on? Why would the legendary teacher Yamatori ask you to write a scenario for him?
Kayaba next to me looked like she was about to faint from shock, and for good reason. I hadn't told her everything about myself yet. I'm sorry for keeping this from you. The truth is, Kayaba had helped me more than anyone as my mentor. Trusting her, I took out my tablet and explained the situation.
This is...
Kayaba then completely ignored her duties as an organizer and, losing her appetite from earlier, focused intently on my tablet. Following Teacher Yamatori's offer, an emergency board meeting was held at Insho Publishing. As expected, it was quite contentious. If an employee starts writing, it'll lack fairness to other manga artists. If he wants to write, he should quit the company.
This case is indeed unprecedented. However, it is also a great opportunity. Let's approve it.
An editor is like a construction manager at a construction site, not a carpenter. It's important to be in a position where you can remain objective to create a better book. Writing a scenario is out of the question. But these old-fashioned opposing opinions were drowned out by Executive Muro's persistence and the big news of Teacher Yamatori's return.
Congratulations on the collaboration with Teacher Yamatori. That's amazing.
You're incredible, Hakozaki. Even though your job description is changing, our goal of making Shonen Intelli a success is the same.
What's wrong with an employee becoming a creator? Hakozaki, you're our hope. Go for it.
The day after the board meeting, my debut as a scenario writer was officially decided, and everyone congratulated me. Why does a low-educated guy like him? And he's teaming up with Teacher Yamatori. Damn it. If he's allowed to do it, then I should be too. Only Jizonji glared at me with hostility amidst the celebratory mood. Afterward, I finished handing over Bakumatsu and began full-fledged meetings with Teacher Yamatori. And during a planning meeting I could no longer attend, a certain incident occurred. Chief Editor, please listen. I've brought a very special plan this time. Jizonji confidently handed out a new project proposal. Inside it was a scenario. In the artist section was the name of a talented pre-debut manga artist known for their serious style. And surprisingly, the name Dai Jizonji was written in the original scenario section.
Jizonji, what is this?
Since Hakozaki, a graduate from a third-rate university, was allowed to become a manga writer, it should be fair for other employees too, right? Editors are usually behind the scenes, but if there's a chance to step into the spotlight, there must be people who want to try. That was a special case, with a direct request from teacher Yamatori himself. As long as you have the skill, it shouldn't be a problem. Would you please take a look? With a small sigh as if to say, I have no choice, the chief editor flipped through the scenario. But his expression gradually changed, and he leaned forward with an impressed, "Oh. Despite the unique world building, it has a great opening that pulls you in right away. You wrote this, Jizonji?" Thank you for the compliment. I would be happy if you would consider it at the next new series meeting. When the chief editor looked around for the reactions of the other employees, everyone who had read the scenario was nodding slightly. Seeing this, Jizonji was certain of his success and smiled faintly. But
Wait a minute.
the one who broke the almost decided flow was Kayaba.
This scenario is complete plagiarism. We can't even consider it for the new series meeting.
A tense atmosphere filled the conference room following the abrupt accusation of plagiarism. What proof do you have to say such a thing? That's rude. Kayaba, is that true? When the chief editor asked, Kayaba nodded slightly and showed her tablet to everyone.
Please, look at this. It's a novel website where anyone can post anonymously. It's from quite a while ago. Ah, here it is. A novel posted 11 years ago by a then high school sophomore.
She pinched out the opening of the novel, enlarging it so everyone could read. You're right. It's almost identical. Who wrote that novel? Well, of course. It's something I wrote a long time ago. How embarrassing. Ignoring Jizonji's attempts to brush it off, Kayaba clicked on the profile section. There, it simply said ICHI, currently high school student.
ICHI? I've never heard of him. Is he an online novelist?
Yes, however, he changed his pen name after becoming an adult. His current pen name is Jun. He's an online novelist who writes a wide range of genres from adventure to romance. Jun's most famous work is Kimi no suimin no naka ni moguritai, commonly known as Kimisui.
What?
Kimisui. I know it. I've read it too.
So, he was active as ICHI since he was a high school student, and then he was reborn and restarted under the pen name June?
That's right. I heard from him that he started a new account from scratch at that time.
No way. I didn't know. I chose a work by a popular online novelist.
What Jizonji plagiarized was a somewhat buried work written before he made his big break with Kimisui. It's a wonderful story, but it wasn't popular, so you probably thought you could get away with it, right?
Grr. The chief editor was once again comparing the online novel and Jizonji's scenario. Kayaba, thank you for noticing. That was a close call. Were you a big fan of Jun or Ichi back then?
No, actually, I met him in person at the party the other day and just finished reading all of his works.
Wait a minute. You mean this online novelist was at the party? No way.
He was there. In fact, he's someone you all know very well.
Unable to comprehend Kayaba's cryptic words, Jizonji became flustered. Then, the chief editor let out a big sigh.
Jizonji, even though you didn't know, you plagiarized from a pretty incredible person.
The chief editor's gaze sharpened. No matter whose work it was, maliciously plagiarizing is unacceptable.
Don't you get it? Both Jun and Ichi are people we know very well.
A second-year high school student 11 years ago. That means he's 28 now. He's our colleague, Junichi Hakozaki.
What? A gasp of astonishment erupted in the conference room. Yes, I have been writing novels since high school. After becoming an adult, some of my works published as Jun gained attention, but I turned down all offers for book or film adaptations. However, thanks to the persuasion of Executive Muro from In-Show Publishing, I finally decided to change careers, using my writing skills as my weapon.
So that's why Hakozaki has the ability to accurately grasp the public's needs and trends in manga.
Yes, it was only at the party that all the dots finally connected for me.
The conference room was filled with a mix of admiration for me and criticism for Jizonji. And then... Jizonji, even though no actual harm was done, your act is an insult to all works and creators in this world. I will be issuing some form of punishment, so you are to stay home until then. Hearing the word suspension, Jizonji looked down with a pained expression. Wait, please, wait! As the days grew shorter, the sky had already turned dark after work. As Kayaba was leaving the office, Jizonji called out to her.
You're still here? Hey, you should go home and start your suspension.
I know. There's no excuse for the plagiarism. I know that. Just listen to me. Why do you always take Hakozaki's side, even though you know how I feel about you?
I'm his mentor. It's my job to protect and nurture him. Besides, I believe I've already properly rejected you.
I didn't know, but apparently he has a crush on Kayaba and has been rejected multiple times. Because of those feelings, he grew to dislike me even more for being treated kindly and looked after by her. I admit he's a good writer, but in the end, he's just a graduate from a third-rate university. I'm better than him in every other aspect.
It's because of academic elitists and people with a strange sense of superiority like you, Jizonji, that this company has such a high turnover rate.
That's right, the turnover rate at Insho Publishing has been on the rise lately. People are leaving to go independent, even giving up their good salaries. Who cares about those guys who ran away from the company because they lack perseverance? So in your mind, going independent or changing jobs is just a form of escape, Jizonji?
Hakozaki, you were here?
Good evening, Kayaba. The chief editor called me, and I happened to overhear your conversation. Jizonji, I may be a man with no other talent than writing. The only other thing I can be proud of is that I've overcome difficult times and never stopped writing. It was when I was in my 3rd year of high school. Back then, when I was still writing as ICHI, I was approached by a publisher. They told me they'd give me a debut if I wrote a new work that wasn't posted online. Being young and naive back then, I was ecstatic. But I put my exam studies on the back burner and wrote the manuscript, only to be hit with a ridiculously high fee for self-publishing. I apologized to my parents and never paid the fee, but in reality, there are parents who pay thinking it's for their child's dreams. That's why these scams never disappear. It might be an excuse, but because of that, I didn't study enough for my exams, and only got into my backup university. That made me think about quitting writing, but strangely, just by living my life, I felt the urge to write something. Eventually, I started writing again after graduating from college while working at a cafe. That's when I changed my pen name. I studied entertainment and waited for someone who would evaluate me fairly this time, so I wouldn't be deceived again. And the one who found me was Executive Muro, who passionately convinced me. She visited the cafe many times to persuade me.
By the way, it was Executive Muro who recommended your work to Teacher Yamatori. Though, I don't think she actually expected him to make a comeback. If all the executives at our company were like Muro, we wouldn't have so many people leaving. Jizonji, as someone who graduated from the same university as you, let me say one last thing. It's foolish to let your life be controlled by your academic background. Whether you master academics or master another path, everyone just has a different direction for their efforts. This current situation is the result of all the effort Hakozaki has put in, the path he has walked. I doubt someone who would casually steal another person's work would understand that. So, I'm no longer interested in your affections. Goodbye.
Let's go, Kayaba said with a smile and started walking. The rejected Jizonji was left standing there stunned. A few months later, Teacher Yamatori's comeback series, Waterland, finally began serialization. It's set in a world after a cataclysm caused by human folly, like war. has submerged everything in the sea. It's a dark fantasy that questions what becomes the standard of human value when pushed into a crisis.
Next up on the news, the long-awaited return of that famous manga artist has finally happened with a new series.
It became a huge hit, with all kinds of media covering it, but there was a problem. The illegal act of leaking sample copies and posting them on video sites before the release date continued. Furthermore, Dai Jizonji, an employee of the publishing house, has been arrested for leaking the sample data to the uploaders. It was a game of cat and mouse, finding and requesting deletions, but this time, the company was determined. Led by executive Muro, they gathered funds from 5 major publishing houses to form a powerful legal team.
They conducted a thorough investigation, identified the illegal uploaders, and successfully carried out a mass arrest.
Furthermore, Dai Jizonji, an employee of the publishing house, was also arrested for leaking the sample data to the uploaders. Unbelievably, Jizonji was the one who had been leaking the pre-release data. He was demoted to a dead-end department in charge of document storage after the plagiarism issue, essentially ending his career as an editor. His motive was apparently a grudge against me, and he wanted to drag me down in any way possible. I'm not wrong. This world is the one that's wrong for not understanding the value of a talented person like me. The company fired Jizonji as soon as they found out he was the source of the data leak.
Furthermore, they plan to file a civil lawsuit for a large amount of compensation to prevent copycat criminals from appearing in the future.
Several more months passed, and the spring arrived. The first volume of Waterland was released. To celebrate, Kayaba and I are having dinner together for the first time in a while.
Kayaba, thank you so much for your passionate and detailed guidance back then.
Kayaba, thank you so much for your passionate and detailed guidance back then. I rushed to reassure Kayaba, who had a lonely look in her eyes. To be honest, I was really anxious at first, but because you were there, I was able to tackle my work smoothly. The reason I am where I am today, with no academic background or experience as an editor, is because of you, Amane Kayaba.
If you had looked at me with prejudice like everyone else, I probably would have lost heart. Oh, don't just say you were helpful. I need you to be with me from now on. Will you go out with me?
Your academic background doesn't matter in life. I'll shut them up with my skills. It's easy to think that. But some people never even get the chance to demonstrate those skills. Such environments are all too common. That's why it's important to have people who understand you. I realized that once again. Even as the cherry blossoms fall, my passion, I will continue to bloom.
As Junichi said, it's so important to have people who understand you. I hope you all enjoyed this video and don't forget to like it and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video!